Hi everyone, my name is Crystal Segovia and I will be doing the remainder part of the presentation. So for this slide, we did decide to go with the left query, and the reason why we decided to have this syntax is because it's been said that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Studies have shown that depending on what you have for breakfast can detect and can kickstart your metabolism throughout the day because it is your first meal of the day, as well as if you have a healthier option, you'll have more energy to burn calories throughout the day. Also, in combination with that, studies have also shown if you have a healthier breakfast, it can help you lower cholesterol levels depending on the foods that you're eating, but it can also decrease some other diseases that come with obesity. And this query, we did select from two tables. We selected from the user info table and the daily consumption table. We started with the select statement. We started with the table user info, and what we extracted from that table was the user's info, such as user ID, their first name, their last name. And what we extracted from the daily consumptions table was the breakfast column. And what the query returns, as you can tell here, it does return with the user ID number for the users, their first name, their last name, and what they had for breakfast. Some of the users did have a healthy breakfast, such as papaya, such as lettuce, such as banana, and juice. But there are some users that did have foods like ice cream, foods like Pop-Tarts for breakfast, chocolate. So this is good to know because that way we can help users and helping them in how to make better breakfast choices. The second query is a view query, and the reason why we decided to go with this query in particular is because it is important for us to see an overall picture of how much the users are actually gaining or if they're losing. Of course, the motivation here is to have the users lose weight, but there has been a couple users that have actually gained weight. And because it is important for us to see an overall picture, we did create a view. This view statement that we selected from here, it's just a quick table, a quick virtual table that we can just call it with this syntax below. And it can automatically give us a full visual of the results. So we started with selecting from a table the user's info. We did extract from their first name, their last name, and we also used another one called result, a second table. And from that table, we extracted the starting weight, the ending weight, and the pounds lost. We did those two, we interjoined those two. We created the view. The view, we did call it total weight loss. As you can see here, once we created it, on the left-hand corner, you will see under views, you'll see total weight loss. And then we will just use this syntax below, which is select all from nutrition.total weight loss, which is the name of the view. And it'll show us the user's name. The query returns the user's name, their last name, their starting weight, their ending weight, and how much pounds they've lost. If we look at the query or the return, the results, you will actually see, for instance, Susan Smith, she actually gained 10 pounds. As we can see, it says 10G. And this is important to know. It just goes in combination with knowing what they're already consuming to see where we can help. The next query that we're doing is a union query, and the reason why we decided with the union query is because weight is very important for us to know, but also the BMI, which is the body mass index, that is also very important. There is some calculations that after calculating it, if you have a BMI below 18.5, you are considered underweight. 18.5 to 24.9 is normal weight, and 25 to 29.9 is overweight, and any BMI over 30 is considered obese. And this query, it starts with selecting the first name, the gender, the age, the height, and the BMI from the user's info table. It is important to know the height as well, and of course the age, in order to calculate the BMI. So this is the reason why we decided to extract information, or these columns in particular. We did extract it from the user's info table. We did select the BMI, and we did do a union query. The two numbers that we were looking specifically was users from anything from the BMI 25 to 30, and the same thing from 33 to 40, because those are the BMI values that it is at higher risk, and we would like to help them the most. And the query returns with their first name, their last name, their age, the height, and the BMI. The next query is custom stored functions query. And here, what a custom stored function is, it's a function that you can store and you can call it at any time. This will make it easier to pull information. If you're wanting to just gather straight information, you can just copy and paste it elsewhere. So this does have a return value for custom stored functions. If we look at the query here, we created one. We did create it, and we called it first name or their full name. If you can see the query, it says create the full name, last name. The return value is 55, which is 55 characters. And once we created it and we called it, then you will see how we called it, selecting the full name. We typed in the user ID's name, and the query will return with the user that you're looking in particular. But you can do this with all the information that you need, or all the user's information that you need. The next one is custom stored procedures. This is similar to the stored function procedure. Similar, not the same, but they are similar. The custom procedure is what we used here is just to get information or extract information when we want to see it really quick, and maybe not share other details with other users. So just giving basic information to whoever needs to see it, and not give more than that. So with this custom stored procedure, we created a procedure. If you see the left side, you'll see where we created it. And this one's called users info basics. So if I want to just create, like we did here, a custom stored procedure, this information, we used it because this is just general information that we need to do a quick search, to get a visual of just the basic information that we need. So with that being said, we did create the procedure called users basic info, and our select statement is it's getting it from the user info table, which is their first name, their gender, their age, their weight, and the BMI. So once we created it, on the left side under stored procedures, we do see it there. And once we call it, which is called again user info basics, then the query returns with their first name, gender, their last name. I apologize. It's their first name, their gender, their age, their weight, and their BMI. Project difficulties. The difficulties that we ran into is that the actual building of the database was a challenge. Some of the syntax was incorrectly input, so it took a while to go through all the syntax and to see where the problem was, since at one point everything started to look the same. So that was definitely an issue. Adding attributes to correspond with each other was challenging as well. After writing the SQL code and doing the inserts to the table, some of the tables were not in line or corresponding with each other, meaning some of the tables with information that we had was either too redundant, or we've had to create extra tables where we could have just put everything in one. It wasn't cohesive. That was definitely a challenge, because at the beginning we thought that we could just put in 5 different tables and everything was going to sync smoothly. But once the actual codes were inserts, or once everything was written, some of the tables just were not making sense with other columns. They were not cohesive. So we did have to go back and make changes on that. After building the database, there was also some adjusting to do on the tables that were already in set, meaning we had to go back and add other attributes. There was some corrections needing to be made, either to the spelling and things of that nature. Thank you so much.